Hello, I'm Gary YouTube from Cultaholic, and I'm joined by Gary YouTube number 2 for the month of November of 2019 because Cultaholic is doing some more Gary YouTube. Are you excited, Tom, to do some Gary YouTubing?
Where's Gary YouTube come from?
I've got no idea. This is just YouTubers do this, don't they? The popular ones, and now we're doing it for wrestling.
Oh, yeah, so we're just... Yeah,
we're the red-headed stepchild in the loft who never gets any food or whatnot.
Oh, look at us playing to the lowest common denominator.
But people like it because this is integral to our minds and our well-being. Putting things in tiers. You know how this works, don't you? You've seen KSI rank his favourite biscuits. You've seen Logan Paul rank his
favourite KSIs.
His favourite KSIs getting punched in the face and whatnot. Anyway, so obviously we've got tiered listing for NXT. We're joined by the NXT guru of fun and happiness, Mr. Tom Campbell, who does the graded series on our illustrious YouTube channel. He's got an informed opinion.
Ha! Funny that.
We're going to rank things from the best, lovely, 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 middle of the road, meh, just about bearable, and then get in the bin, which is the place you don't want to be, Tom.
Don't want to
be in the bin. So we might as well just get going. We're kicking things off with Adam Cole. Bye-bye. I think this is quite easy.
This is going to be quite... In general, this is going to be quite a tough thing to do because I don't like the idea of putting anybody in the bin. It's
got to be done.
It goes against my nice nature.
It's got to be done sometimes.
To start putting people in the bin. Well, okay. Well, we start. Adam Cole is the best.
Adam Cole is in the best. He is the.
Do I drag?
You can have the moose, and you can drag. So there he is. He's in the best.
There we go. So popping him in there.
We don't need to justify why, do we? I'm
he's
sure.
He's the NXT champ. He's the leader of the Undisputed Era.
I'm sure people who don't watch NXT learned why on Raw and SmackDown last week. So
he had an entirely. I'm annoyed that Jack didn't make him Wrestler of the Week.
Who did he make Wrestler of the Week?
It's not Adam Cole.
Oh,
that's all that matters. Furious.
That's a bit silly.
Yeah, Adam Cole had like absolute game-changing performances, not just in NXT every week, but on Raw and SmackDown as well. Deservedly the best. Massive part.
Just a cool, good-looking man.
I was really concerned for a while when he came in because it took a while, I feel, for him to ascend properly, and I was worried that he might get a bit lost in the shuffle. But now he's very much made himself the flag bearer for NXT. It's tough to be the champ in a time like this when you're up against AEW as well. A lot of people are always going. I was drawing comparisons between Chris Jericho and Adam Cole. And Adam Cole's, he's marching to his own drum with his lads.
Yeah, the
lads, the Undisputed Era, and I definitely one of the best.
Yeah, I just don't think it needs any justifying. So we'll move on to Aaliyah.
Oh.
Who I did not realise until I googled it not too long ago is only about 24 or 25 years of age, but she's been in that performance centre for a very bloody long time.
She's spending a long time in the performance centre.
But even though she is impressive, when she's in the ring, she does certain things that you think's impressive. The sell of Ria Ripley's finisher leg lock shwee thing was unbelievable, I thought.
It was cool. It's actually now called the shwee lock.
The shwee. Anyway, I think that her and Vanessa Bourne, this goes for as well, need to get in the bin. Because, and hear me out, they are doing the sassy, mean girls, I'm a bitch and I think I'm better than you, high school thing that we've seen so many times in wrestling. And I think we've got past that now. And I guess that for heels, it's sort of like harking back to the sort of diva-ish stuff works for certain people. But for me, when I see her and Vanessa Bourne, I just think we've seen this before time and time again. I don't want to see it again.
I think Aaliyah has been with the company, like you say, she's been in the Performance Centre for ages. I seem to remember watching one of the first documentaries on the WWE Network about the Performance Centre. It was very early on.
Breaking Ground?
Breaking Ground. Yeah. She was on that. And and to the fact that she's still not really, I don't feel like she's substantially improved. And I'm going to have to be really mean in this, aren't I? And it's no reflection of Aaliyah. I don't know her as a human being. But I'm going to have to put her in the bin.
Do you agree with that, with the gimmick of the mean girl?
It's just, it's a bit nah. And it's also like she should be, in my head, further along than she is in terms of like skill set and whatever, because there are people who have been at the Performance Centre less time than Aaliyah and have kind of risen on past her. I feel like she's had a lot of opportunities.
We might as well do Vanessa Bourne now, because I think Aaliyah, out of the pair of them, oh no, you don't want to do that. Don't.
Unfortunately, it's guilt by association.
Things are moving. We'll try and keep the things still.
Okay, it's death by association, unfortunately.
So Aaliyah is a better wrestler than Vanessa Bourne, in my opinion. So I just think it's not. Is it a reflection on Aaliyah? This is what she's being told to do, but I've just seen it so many times. I just think it's time to move on from that sort of stuff.
I said death by association. I meant guilt by association. I don't want anyone to die from this. Yeah,
Mr. Angel Garza.
Oh, Angel Garza.
I love that man.
Yeah.
The moustache, the trousers. It's good. It might be getting a bit repetitive already with the trousers, but still they found...
No, the last week on NXT, the week before we recorded this, they did a whole bit where he was going to get the trousers off, Angel Garza, get your trousers off! And Tony Nese stopped him to the point where his trousers stayed on. Tony Nese then went to powerbomb Garza off the top rope, but instead caught the trousers, and then we got to see the beautiful visual of Tony Nese full-on powerbombing a pair of trousers.
It's the issue is, how do they keep making it different week by week by week?
That's one way.
Because they've had this stuff with Jack Gallagher, they obviously had this stuff with Tony Nese. That's the challenge for me. But I do like everything about this man.
I do. I don't think he is in the top tier. I'm going to put him in our first. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I agree with that.
There he goes. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Who knows in a year or two's time when he's done more? Obviously, he's still in the sort of introductory phase of being on NXT roster. In a year's time, he might be in the main event scene. Then he might be best. But just now, I think it's a bit too soon for best.
He's in a good place now. I think that Humberto Carrillo was doing great stuff in the Cruiserweight division. Now Humberto's gone to Raw. I think Angel Garza is going to sort of supplant him in a role there. It feels like Humberto's gone out and Garza's come in. They've talked a lot about the backstory of Garza, which suggests to me that there's lots planned with him.
Yeah.
Uncle Hector.
Yeah. So now we have Mr. Karate Man. Mr. Bald Karate Man, who I've completely forgotten the name of.
Bald Karate Man?
He wears karate stuff. Why have I forgotten his name? Do you know his name?
Do you know what? I feel really sad.
Oh my God! Well, this is an indictment of where he finds himself in the roster today.
Let's just quietly pop him.
No,
in the bin.
don't put him in the bin. I think
if you don't know him, you're in the bin.
I think meh. I feel really bad. We should probably Google. I'll have you got your phone on you?
I have indeed, yes.
You get his name, I feel really bad. All I've seen from this unknown man, this unknown assailant, is him being jobbed out. He comes out and does his karate stuff, which is very impressive. I think he's from Brazil. And he does all these karate stuff on the ramp, and then he gets jobbed out, and that's all we've really seen from him.
Okay.
Do you not recognise him at all?
Do you know what? I feel really bad that I don't. I watch NXT for my job. Arturo Ruas, you are mad because we could not remember your name. That was a fantastic start and fills this tiered ranking with integrity. Beth Phoenix, the Phoenixed one. I am going to say just about bearable. Really? I was going to put her in there.
Because it's a difficult role she finds herself in, the third person on the commentary team, the babyface commentator in a three-man booth, as Byron Saxon has showed, outside of the Kofi Kingston stuff, is a horrible place to find yourself.
It's not a great place to be. I would argue that even in comparison to Renee Young, I think Beth Phoenix has held herself better in that third commentary position than anybody, in the sense that she's got... Renee Young spoke recently and she said the issue that she had with doing it was that by the time they came to her, everything had been said. So therefore she was like, whoa, oh my, wow, that's the thing. Whereas Beth Phoenix, I feel like has always got stuff to say. Sometimes it's a bit cringy, like the stuff they do when the Fashion Police come out, Fandango and Tyler Breeze come out, and she makes some sort of like innuendo.
She didn't get the reference.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's a bit. I think Vince has written that.
You're married to the rated R superstar, Beth. Of course you know about male strippers.
Hey-o. I'm going to dispute just about bearable. I want to put her in meh. I don't think she's great, but I think she's grasped that third commentator role better than most.
I'll accept that, I guess. I'll accept that. Not too many more. That's one you've got. You owe me one in the future. Bianca Bella, I think, deserves to be fair. This might ruffle a few feathers because I know she's a bit of a hot and cold, bit of a divisive thing in NXT. I think she goes lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yeah, I would have. Do you know what? I'd have put her in the best if there had been a bit more consistency.
There's one thing stopping her from being the best in my thing. That was when she lost and then still was going undefeated.
Yeah, that's it. Once you are defeated, you're no longer undefeated.
Yeah, that's how it works. It doesn't, and no other way about it.
That's how being defeated works.
Esteem is sort of. I know she's getting back involved in the title picture now in the War Games match and everything. But it sort of slowed down for a while there with Bianca Belair.
I feel like there was a bit of a phantom heel turn in there
Yeah.
as well, which I'm not a fan of. Which I think has sort of dampened her shine a little bit. But she's still great.
She's really impressive.
I reckon
really
lovely,
strong.
lovely, lovely.
And that promo she cut a few weeks ago when she was like, was it about Rhea? When she was on about inserting herself into the NXT title picture, she was like, "Oh hell nah!"
Yeah.
I like that sort of sassy.
She's got her sass. I think that if I worked for 2K Games, I'd be putting her and getting the bin. Because navigating her hair this year has made them very sad.
I'll tell you what, I really do enjoy her skip down the ramp every time I see it. It just fills me with joy.
It's great, and using hair as a weapon is a cool thing.
It is
like,
really,
there's nothing in the rulebook that says you can't use your hair as a weapon. Which is absolutely correct.
She whips it back and forth. Next up, we have Boa.
Boa! Right.
If you're good in your
Shut up!
No, do not
Put him
bastardize.
there.
Why?
Love Boa. He's ace.
Now, I've seen him twice, and both times he got squashed by Killian Dane. Once literally, and the other metaphorically.
Love him, no.
Why?
Boa. It's Boa, isn't it, mate?
You can't put Boa in.
Bloody brilliant.
You're not
Bloody brilliant, Boa.
You're not bastardising this thing already.
I am going to bastardize with bloody brilliant Boa.
He deserves to be no higher than Meth from what we've seen so far. He is a smiley man who does some kicks. That's all we know about Boa. And we've not seen if he's good or if he's bad so far. So Met is where he goes, Tom. You can't. No. Maybe in the future, but not.
Boa.
We have such.
All right, put him in there.
That's where he deserves to go.
Fine.
What have you seen that makes, apart from his lovely smile?
Lovely smile.
He's got a lovely smile.
Good intensity. He does a bit backstage where he's kickboxing. Like that.
He cuts a Chinese promo and everyone's going, what?
Brilliant. He's my boy.
Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish. I want to put him in the best.
That is controversial.
Really like.
Because I think in terms of the Undisputed Era, he is lower down than some others.
Oh, hush your lips.
If we're going to rank the Undisputed Era, I'd say he's third.
I was going to actually put all Undisputed Era in the best.
Ooh!
And Boa.
Boa! Stop it.
Bobby and Kyle O'Reilly as a tag team are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They play the game so well, and there's little intricacies that they put into it that make it feel special. They'll do stuff in tag team matches. We show their tag team specialists. They did a bit on the last NXT, remember the NXT the week before, where it was them versus Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, and they got wiped. And I think Bobby got wiped out by a rogue kick from Kyle O'Reilly, but instead of Kyle O'Reilly standing there like a heel going, no, Kyle O'Reilly went, oh well, back to the match, and like immediately put like a leg lock back on Riddle. Like it was stuff like that they do is great, and you watch them as a tag team, and they constantly like build the tension of a great tag title match. That's why I want to put him in the best.
But I just think in terms, if you look at them as just individually,
yeah,
I think Cole and O'Reilly overshadow him so much. I just don't think they belong in the same tier.
Right.
I think Fish is Fish is still fantastic. I think you can make that clear. But I think he's a step below Cole and O'Reilly.
Wherever you put Fish, you've got to put O'Reilly.
No, because Kyle's my favourite.
Well, then get him in the best.
No, you can't.
All right.
Do that.
I tell you what. Okay, Bobby can go in lovely. Boa can go in the best.
You can't do that. Why would you do that? We're here to provide a service for people at home.
Mate, we didn't know who one of the wrestlers was.
That's understandable.
We've already taken the Peter Schmeichel.
Bobby Fish is lovely.
All right, okay. All right. We'll compromise on that.
I mean, that's still a lovely place to be.
It's still a lovely place to be.
Big Bronson Reed.
Oh.
Now, he had a coming out party, if you will, in that match recently. Who was it against on NXT TV?
He faced Matt Riddle. Had a hell of a match against Matt Riddle. And he had one.
And Matt Riddle lifted him numerous times.
Yeah, but he's solid.
He's like Samoa Joe, but a bit bigger.
Yeah, I think he's like the next. It's like a next gen. Jonah Rock is a phenom of wrestling. When you watch him, it's great to have those guys on your team that have got the size and can move. And I think he's very much a future prospect.
Definitely, I think he's lovely.
I think he's lovely.
Even though we've only really seen one. I know, was he in the breakout tournament?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I've only seen one proper match, and that was the one against Riddle. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, I like him as well.
And he's doing it for the big lads as well, and I've got to get it on the big lads team.
Big shout out to the big lads with good cardio.
Yes, I am one of them. Mr. Cameron Grimes. Now then, if we were sat here a few weeks ago, I would have gone meh. Because
Yeah.
obviously he's just arrived and we haven't seen anything. But he's had 2 outstanding matches in recent weeks. One against Tyler Bate and the other against Matt Riddle. I think that's how it was.
Yeah, and he had that great match against Boa. Which went about 3 seconds. Literally just smashed it with a cave in. Done.
That's what I mean. How can we put Bo any higher than me?
Cameron Grimes has really carved his own niche in NXT, which I really like. Like his look is really special.
I tell you,
and the fact that he always goes for the cave in immediately.
Yeah.
Like he wrestles like somebody playing a wrestling game.
Yeah.
Where it's like bell sounds, triangle to run, hit your finisher quick, hit your finisher quick, hit your finisher quick. Like that's how you should really be wrestling.
Yeah.
Like what wrestler? Why, if you're a wrestler, like to break down the barriers a little bit, to quote the Elton John song from the album The Fox, to break down the barriers. Why wouldn't you, as a wrestler, want to hit your finisher immediately and then win? Like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar does.
Trying to be methodical.
Methodical process. But I again, big fan of Cameron Grimes.
See, I didn't see too much of his Impact run. I knew he was an X Division champion. I saw maybe a couple of matches, but really those 2 matches in recent weeks have really sold me. I love the presentation as well, with the music and the different looking Tron and the lovely snail trail he's got, which is so luscious. Much like the hair on his head, he's got a lovely head of hair.
It's visual stuff like that make him stand out.
Yeah,
as well.
and I
really
do like different in wrestling.
Are we thinking lovely, lovely, lovely?
I think lovely, lovely, lovely is the limit. But again, I think he's much like Mr. Angel Garza in that maybe in the future he could be in the best. But we just haven't seen enough so far.
Lovely, lovely, and indeed lovely.
Now this is gonna ruffle some feathers. Candice LeRae belongs in Meh. If we're looking at her NXT run in a vacuum, forget about the stuff before. I think
I'd be like, why can't I watch it outside of this vacuum?
I think they've completely missed the point with Candice, because for the longest time she was just Johnny Gargano's wife. And she was going, no, Johnny, don't do that. Then you look at pictures of her from the independent scene and she's pissing blood everywhere herself.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big mistake. And they haven't recovered from that, because you look at the reaction she gets when she appears now and it's just, it's Candice, and that's such a bloody shame.
I think she's in there now.
Yeah, now, definitely.
I think that come the War Games match, I reckon we will regret putting her in there.
I hope so.
I feel like that might be a bit of a flourishing moment for Candice.
They've got a lot of ground to make up that they've lost so far, I think.
I think, but then like they might have, maybe, because I've seen the same stuff you've seen about Candice LeRae, where like she's a brutal wrestler on the indie scene, in the same way that Keith Lee was a ridiculous high flyer on the indie scene, but we've only seen that come from him in the last few weeks, really. But he held off on that. Whether or not they're just saving it so Candice LeRae can shock the world and just go balls to the wall.
I hope they
balls
do.
To the wow.
Because she is fantastic. And it does, when her music hits and she comes out skipping and being all happy, the crowd are sort of like,
yeah,
it's sort of, what could be? What could be?
I reckon we'll put her in there, but I think we'll regret it.
I hope we do. All the best to you, Candice.
I don't think we do.
To another one of the Brazilian contingent we go, and I know this one's name. It's Mr. Cesar Benoni, maybe.
Cesar Benoni, maybe.
Now I've said it, I'm not
Hey,
confident.
I've just met you and this is crazy. His name's Cesar Benoni, maybe.
Again, I think he belongs in Meh. He's been there for a while. We've seen him a few times. He's a good-looking man. He's got a lovely body. But again, it's like...
I think I think he goes in just about bearable.
Do you?
Because like the Met category is fleshed out with Candice. We just put Candice LeRae in Met, and Candice LeRae has more to offer than him at the moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Cesaro, but no. So, but no to Met.
But then again,
yes to bearable.
Again, in his role that he's been cast so far, it's normally been to put somebody over, and he hasn't been able to show his character. He's just a wrestler from Brazil. So I would argue that just about bearable's a bit harsh because he's not being allowed to show anything more.
Yeah, but then hang on, you put Candice LeRae in Meh because for that same reason that she hasn't been allowed to show anything more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put him in Meh as well.
Oh, fair enough.
You're the one saying put him in bearable. Stop moving the thing.
Sorry,
Sam's going to be
Frank.
going wild upstairs.
Sam's going to kick right
What
off.
are you doing? Put it down.
Oh, sorry, I'm putting him in Meh. Living him in Meh.
Yeah, him and Candice are the same as they haven't been allowed to sort of show anything that sets them apart from anybody. Yeah, what I mean. Yeah. This is Dakota Kai, and I think just because of the smile that
I love Dakota Kai.
You just feel warm when you watch
Bit in love with Dakota Kai.
Oh, yeah?
Actually. Yeah, a little bit in love with Dakota Kai. And the whole thing that they did last week on NXT where she was fighting to get a place in the War Games match. It was wonderful 3-pronged storytelling because it was we had a video of we had a promo of Candice saying promo of Dakota Kai saying I need to earn my place in this match.
Yeah.
We had the match she had against Shayna Baszler, which she lost but really fought tooth and nail to do it, and then finding out at the end like, well, no, you lost, you didn't make the cut, you're not in the match, and then leaving like the shot of all the others.
Do you reckon it's a heel turn? I got that little she might snap.
I feel like Tegan Nox is going to turn heel on Dakota Kai.
Why?
Because Tegan Nox was happy to let her Team Kick tag team partner be binned from the team. She looked sad for about a second, and then as soon as she was out of shot, she was like,
oh, maybe,
"Yay,
yeah.
War Games, friends! Don't worry about her." Oh, mean Nixon Newell. Mean Newell.
But the story as well with Dakota Kai coming back from the injury, and then the stuff with Shayna, she sold all that offense really well. That's when Shayna really started to get over with me. But yeah, Dakota Kai's just lovely.
Lovely.
And she also sounds like the noise that was made in Lord Tensai's theme at the start. You know, he's going, Shadika, Dakota Kai! And then the theme would start.
That was Albert putting over Dakota Kai. And was it in NXT UK where the crowd were going, Dakota Kai, do, Dakota Kai,
I didn't see that one.
Maybe I did it in my head. Very likely.
So next up, we have the bloody... He's a big fan of Oasis. You see how it says live forever at the start?
Oh.
You and I were going to live forever.
Is that what it is?
No, it doesn't. He's a bloody archer. He's the archer of infamy, whatever that means.
He is an infamous archer.
I've forgotten his name already. Why?
Damien Priest.
Damien Priest.
Punishment Martinez.
That's why it's just Punishment Martinez to me. Damien Priest. That match against Pete Dunne, was it last week or the week before?
They've had two.
The second one
last year. The second one was excellent.
Unbelievable.
Excellent.
I didn't realise he could do that.
NXT is driving me wild at the moment because I'm getting heat for giving everything A's in terms of match quality, but everyone's just going for it. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I've been called biased, right? By certain people in the comments, which really annoyed me. Comments don't annoy me because I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am, so why should I care? But it really annoyed me when people say I'm biased because I praise AEW so much, but crap on the main roster WWE stuff. But I say if things are bad, you say they're bad, and if things are good, you say they're good.
Yeah.
And Punishment Martinez, Damien Priest, with his gimmick, which is just, I'm a man who likes to go out and have drinks and shag people.
Yeah, it's very
doing some archery.
It's very relatable.
I think I was really scared when he started that he was just another Baron Corbin, a big man with tattoos who had the look but couldn't really, and I know Corbin's come leaps and bounds since way back in NXT days, but he's really proven that he's not that. And I think he deserves to be lovely, lovely, lovely.
I'd almost put him in the best, you know.
I think it's too soon. Too soon.
Okay, well look, I won't argue on you. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
I think that's warranted. That match against Pete Dunne, the second one, was fantastic.
It was great. I want to see those two work together a lot more, actually.
Stop it, Tom.
What?
Stop it.
Boa was in the wrong place.
Danny Birch.
Oh!
2!
Big Danny. Do you remember when he was Martin Stone?
I've seen things.
Looks like I've seen things.
He looked like he's 40 since he's about 12.
Yeah, he looks like a completely different person now. Like he's such a like he was so stocky back then. Like
he's probably ripped now, isn't he?
Yeah, ripped to shreds.
But it's a difficult one, this, isn't it? Because again, I know Oney Lorcan on Twitter is a different man that we see on TV. On TV, he's just one and then kick you hard in the face. We don't really see much of the funny stuff from Oney Lorcan. Danny Birch is a bit more. Even more subtle than Oney Lorcan on TV as well. It's a really hard one, this, I think.
Lorcan and... Okay, wherever we put Lorcan, wherever we put Birch, we need to put Lorcan. Because they're...
But the Twitter game sets Lorcan apart, surely.
Isn't Oney Lorcan off Twitter now?
Is he?
I thought he'd come away...
But the last 6 months of Twitter has been amazing.
It's been amazing.
I think that's what sets them apart. It feels harsh because when they are used, they have good matches. The TakeOver opener immediately springs to mind against Undisputed Era, I think it was a while ago. That was an unbelievable match, and everyone was thinking, oh, why are these two nobodies in this match? And then they were like, well, we'll have a good match and we'll show you.
But then I think the thing is, since then, I feel like they've cooled.
Definitely.
And it was a great opportunity to really take them to the limit after that match, to really raise them up, and they just kind of just chilled out. They did a bit of NXT UK, and they really kind of got lost in the shuffle. So I think for that, put him as a meh.
I think mess. Really, it's harsh but fair there, as they used to say on Pro Evolution back in the day. Harsh but meh.
Sorry, Danny.
This is Deonna. We haven't really seen her, have we?
No.
She's appeared a couple of times with Chelsea Green, looking all sassy and menacing. But that's it. So meh. I don't know what else we can do. She hasn't really been, we've got to take it as they have been used on NXT TV.
I think it's weird to say, like, just about bearable, because we haven't really seen anything to bear.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
They stood in the crowd one week, weren't they? Back to back, they've appeared on the stage.
Is it not like a non-applicable category?
We've got to
like,
put...
it doesn't really... do we base it on past achievements? But no, because then we'd rate Candice LeRae.
Yeah. You've got to do it in NXT as a vacuum. And I think we've got to, just as we're sat here now, I think it's got to be the same as Candice. So that we haven't really seen anything in the future we might regret it. Which we probably will, because she is good.
Are we putting her as a meh then?
I think we have to go meh.
Yeah, fair enough. We haven't seen like stand-up performances like we have with Boa.
Now this next one breaks my heart, right?
Yeah.
Because that debut was unbelievable from Dexter Lumis. I loved the way he was like a man lizard. He snaked his way into the ring. I loved the stare down the camera. The moustache speaks for itself. He's got a great look. But again, since then, I think he was in the breakout tournament early on, got knocked out. We haven't seen him since in the USA era, have we?
No, and again, like with Chelsea, we can't really judge you on what you haven't done. Deonna, not Chelsea. I got Chelsea from.
I've just realised on the NXT roster page, Chelsea's not even there.
Well, there you go. We can't even rate her.
So that's a big mistake from people who run WWE.com. I checked that against Wikipedia as well.
But so Deonna, but like with Deonna, he hasn't done enough. So I guess we have to put him in there.
And I've never seen his Impact stuff. He was in Impact as a British name.
Oh, he was excellent in Impact as like I said, a Dexter-esque sort of psychopath,
Lizard
stalker
man
type. He was brilliant as part of that.
But I hope he does get more TV time to be the sort of, because in NXT, obviously it's catering to a different audience, but certainly that audience still likes weird, and there's not too much weird in NXT, is there? Everyone's just so good. Well, apart from Aaliyah and Vanessa.
Yeah.
But I hope he gets to be shown more, because he does fill a role that's different from anybody else, but we've
got to marry him, haven't we?
We've got to marry him.
We've got to marry him. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, lizard man.
Sorry, old friend. Dominik Dijakovic! Feast your eyes!
Feast your eyes. The string of matches against Keith Lee speak for themselves.
Oh, incredible. Like, it was like the Keith Lee Dijakovic series happened by a really happy accident. Because they just happened to be put together the one time, and they went, just for a laugh, should we just knock it out of the park? And they did. It was like, what are you doing, lads? And then they had another one. I was like, what are you doing? And I think the third one they had, or maybe the fourth one they had, they set the bar so high for themselves that it came down a couple of notches. I was like, okay, that was great, but it was like the other one was better. And then they added Roderick Strong in to make that triple threat match the other week for the North American title.
Idiot Roderick Strong.
Oh.
What an idiot that man is.
Big Rod, oh yeah.
For interfering in that match?
Oh,
what did he think was going to happen?
War games. What always happens, isn't it? That match that they had. And Dijakovic has such a skill level.
He's got everything, hasn't he?
He's one of these guys.
Literally everything.
Very much like with Damian Priest. He's a tall guy that's a bit leaner. And when Baron Corbin came into NXT, I always thought he looked too gangly. And it was like a gangly look that couldn't make it. And Damian Priest has proved, no, you can have that sort of structure and still be great. And Dijakovic also proves you can have that structure and still be great.
Yeah.
I don't know about Feast Your Eyes. I don't know about that as a thing. I feel like it could be. It feels a bit interchangeable with anybody. Like anybody could have feast. I imagine you could say that with yes, I suppose.
I guess nobody's like 6'8", are they? Who else is 6'8" on the NXT roster?
There's not many other people.
Yeah. That's what.
But either way, he's great. I think put him in Lovely.
I think Lovely's fair.
Lovely.
It's interesting to see where they take his character from here, because so far he's just the menacing American Croatian. And hopefully they don't fall into that stereotype of evil foreigner. Hopefully they don't do that. If they do that, I'll be very upset. Why have you got your phone on?
I'm checking the name of...
Oh, it's Fabian Aichner.
Fabian Aichner, isn't it?
Yeah. I knew that one. You didn't check that one. I'm going to go, right, even though he does have the look of the base community creations you get right at the start, before you've done anything.
Yeah.
Which sets him back a bit for me. I'm going to go meh, because... Again, if you rank him against Volta, that's unfair.
Right.
Because Volta's amazing. But from what we've seen from Imperium so far, what I have seen from Imperium, don't know too much about Fabian Aichner. I know he's a fantastic wrestler. I know he's got an amazing thick AF body. I know he can do amazing flippy doos and whatnot. But a lot of people can do that.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think, yeah, the problem is, like, you have to do so much more than just be a standout wrestler. I think, in order to stand out.
But it's hard in his role because he's an Imperium and they're very serious and the mat's sacred and they stand there and do their pose and be very, very stoic.
Yeah.
So you can't really do that in the role he's cast. So he's a bit hamstrung by his own gimmick.
Hoisting by his own petard. Let's call him a meh.
I think meh's fair, but again, it could be one that we eat our words on. Fandango's the best,
Feast our
isn't it?
eyes on. You reckon the best? Straight in there with the best?
I think lovely. It obviously, we think back to Fandango as the dancer, and it didn't really do much for me as much as we loved doing the Fandangoing back in the day. But ever since the Brian Alvarez promo he cut on, he revealed that Fandango was his favourite wrestler after he went to an NXT live event. Because apparently Fandango just spent his entire time trying to make Tyler Breeze laugh, and Tyler Breeze caved in. And Brian just bigged up Fandango so much that you just take a step back and you think, yeah, Fandango really is that good.
Fandango's in NXT at a really good time now because he's been up to the main roster and he's learned a lot of lessons from there and he's got a lot to bring back to him. And the one thing that is really great about these moves from the main roster to NXT is you're going to have these guys that have been on the main shows that are now going to be offering their services in terms of what they know to a younger roster.
Yeah.
And Fandango and Tyler Breeze are both in that world right now where they can offer something a little bit extra.
And they show they're not just all about the laughs as well.
Yeah.
There was that 6-man against the Forgotten Sons recently, I think it was.
There's a bit of gimmickiness when they come out, but then once they get into the ring, then bang, off the races we go.
As much as everyone's confused when the entrance first starts with having different entrances every week now, I do like it when they do it.
Yeah.
And Fandango really does show up Tyler Breeze and his mannerisms. He is, I think Brian said he is a stripper who pretends to be a wrestler rather than the other way around. And I just think he's fantastic, Fandango.
Are we going to put Fandango and Tyler Breeze in lovely, lovely, lovely?
I think that's fair. Try not to move the table.
Oh.
He's got one. Tyler Breeze.
And Tyler Breeze.
There he is. They're just two. They are. Just stop it. Stop it. They are just, both of them are great. I mean, speaking about Tyler Breeze himself, it's such a shame that, because when he debuted on the main roster and his seasonal residence was still a thing, and the stuff he did with Summer Rae really early on looked like it was going to be great, and then it just stopped, and he didn't recover. And obviously the Breezango stuff with the identity and the fashion files and all that, the malarkey was fantastic. But they could have done so much more with the guy, as I guess they could have done with so many other wrestlers, but, you know, that's the world we live in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a roster of 7 billion people.
Yeah. I'm going to just say the best since he's turned heel, Mr. Finn Balor.
Finjamin Balor. Up you go!
I've got to admit, for the longest time on the main roster, when you just come out and smile, that didn't out for me. That did absolutely nothing for me.
They really told the story of his heel turn beautifully.
Yeah.
In even the week before it, where he did that whole... There was a video that went out on NXT, and it was Finn Balor saying how, like, in order to move forward, he has to step back. And we always thought, oh, that means that's why he's back in NXT. No, he's...
The Prince is back.
The Prince is back. That's what he meant. He told us without telling us. And then and then that whole promo he did afterwards, it was only about, after he turned heel, he came out with the spotlight on him.
Yep.
It was a promo that can't have been longer than 2.5 minutes. And it's just that thing of when you've got something to say, you don't need a long time to say it. And it was just like, I don't watch the business watches me. Like,
I just think he's one of those who is naturally a heel. As a babyface, he was very robotic. But as a heel, it's so much more natural feeling and just so much more engaging. I think he's just 10 times better as a heel than he is a face. And it's interesting to see where he goes with the OC thing. Is that going to go anywhere? When when Finn was like that.
Oh yeah, they did the whole with the guns and Bullet Club confirmed. Bullet Club confirmed. Io Shirai,
the best.
Yeah.
What do you need to say?
That is a character that has been well crafted.
And that stuff with Poppy.
Oh, when she came out with Poppy.
And the song about the mask and having 2 faces and 2 personalities. Oh, fantastic. And the wrestling speaks for itself. We don't need to speak about the wrestling. But the character work especially. Because again, her as a face didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
When she would come out with a mask and then take it off and be all happy and whatnot. Meh. But now she's a bad woman, a psychotic woman. Fantastic.
Yeah, works for her so well.
Plus
so
she's
well.
Beautiful.
She really is. And she's got a great wrestling style. Future already a pillar of the NXT Women's Division.
Yeah.
But you could put the belt on her and have her run it forever and ever.
Yeah,
You really could. I like her a lot. Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
I love his theme. I love his trunks. I love everything about him. I love that thing he does on the roast when he does the and then flips over.
Yeah. He's just cool. Effortless cool. His match with Dijakovic the other week was stunning.
Yeah.
Like, here's a guy who immediately walks out and you think, there is a future star.
Yeah.
There is a star in the making right there. Like, it's so exciting to watch him work. And I think he's only going to get better. I think he's going to be a guy that's near the top, if not at the top, of NXT.
He's just got that thing about him, that effortless thing.
Factor.
Yeah, the it factor. He's got it, brother.
He's Bobby Roode in TNA wrestling.
But I think just because he is brand new, well, relatively brand new.
Yeah.
Lovely is the limit.
I think, his limit is lovely. So there you go, buddy. Get yourself in lovely.
But again, it's one we will eat our words on, I think.
I hope. Do you know what? I hope we do.
Yeah.
I genuinely hope we do.
Mr. Riker, Jackson Riker, I think is our first just about bearable.
Yeah.
He is just...
They are trying so hard with the Forgotten Sons to mould them into like a future Undisputed Era-esque faction, but for some reason,
how do you mean by that?
Well, in the sense like a company destroying stable.
Oh,
like all three.
I just think they are good at being. I think Wesley Blake especially is so underrated as a heel. I just think he gets it, and obviously we'll get on him later. But Jackson Riker, he just stands there and goes, grabs his partners by the hair and throws them about a bit.
He's got a great look. He's got a great style. He's got a great poise. But like in terms of like, I kind of agree with you on him being just about bearable.
Because it's not like the old muscle heads of 2008 where like you can see they're just a fish up a tree. He does belong in the
fish up a tree.
He does belong in the ring. He does know what he's doing.
Jackson Riker, you are not a fish up a tree, man.
But is he meh?
I'm putting him just about bearable.
I think he is. It's just
because there's better wrestlers in meh than Jackson Riker.
Yeah, there is.
To be honest,
I think we've got another bin contender here. Mrs. Jessamyn Duke.
I'm glad you're pronouncing it because I get into trouble every time I attempt
Jessamyn Duke, I think it's how it's said.
Jessie Manduke.
Very new, very green, and that's very evident.
Yeah.
And maybe once again we'll eat our words in the future, but from what we've seen so far on NXT TV, bad.
I like the idea of the horsewomen being a thing, but it's like I don't think they are anywhere near ready.
No.
So I reckon in the bin.
I think we can put Mrs.
And I reckon Marina Shafir in the bin as well.
Yeah, I think if you're going to put one, you have to put the other one in.
Yeah, come on. Both
and again, I hope we do. It does seem a bit harsh because they are pretty new to all of this, and maybe they're not going to say, "Oh no, we're not ready for TV." When Triple H comes up and says, "Do you want to be on NXT next week?" So you can't.
Yeah, you're not going to say no, are you?
You can't blame them for getting on there, but still, it is too soon, and it does feel bad, but it is true as well.
They'll get over it.
So next up, we have Mr. Joaquin Wilde, which is a really difficult one to mark because he's been injured.
He hasn't done anything yet.
He was in the breakout tournament. That's how he debuted. He signed in May, I think it was. I wrote a news article on him recently because he announced he's been cleared for a return. So maybe we'll see stuff again. We can't judge. It used to be DJZ in Impact, so that's why you might know. But we can't. We're doing this NXT as a vacuum. So I think it's just got to go meh because we haven't seen anything for the better or for the worse from.
I know when he gets going, he'll be great. Yeah. But there's so many. Like meh is becoming the category of we haven't seen enough from you yet, but we don't want to put you in the bin.
Well, I guess that's a nice place for NXT to be, isn't it? With all these names, all these fresh faces.
I think so.
Mr. Gargano.
Surely he's got to be. Well, he's the lifeblood of NXT.
But when it's not Ciampa, I find myself caring really a lot less.
Oh.
When it's not Ciampa on the opposite side of the ring, I just think, well, you're a good wrestler. Well, you're a nice guy.
So you don't think you didn't think much of that series with Andrade?
They were obviously fantastic matches, but when it's not Ciampa, I just find myself not caring as much.
Are you not invested in Bala Gargano? Which is the thing that we're doing now.
When it gets really good, as obviously Finn kicked him in the head, but have we seen anything more than that?
No, but we're going to see it.
We're going to see more
games.
We'll see more by the time. When's this video going live? I don't know. I think that.
I want to put him in the best.
I think he still is the best, isn't he? But he's not. He might be the top of the best when he's against Ciampa, along with Ciampa. But when he's not against Ciampa, he's down the best. We should say, by the way, we're not going to rank them when they're in the categories as well. That would just take way too long.
Yeah, I think but I want to personally put him in the best.
I can accept that.
I want him in the best. I love Johnny Gargano is I know what you're saying. Like against Ciampa, you are more vested, but I think in general Gargano is just a strong performer.
Yeah,
and I think like we've still got plenty. I
do appreciate everything about him. It's just that thing when it's not against Ciampa, I just can't get out of my head. Next up, we have Mr. Jordan Miles. Again,
Miles.
We haven't seen too much from on TV.
Controversial situations with Jordan Miles as of late is the main thing we've seen.
Which seems to has it been resolved?
It's gone all very quiet.
It has gone quiet.
But we haven't seen he won the breakout tournament, and he had a cracker of a match with Adam Cole. And then obviously
was that for the title?
Yeah,
it was.
Because that was it. He earned a title shot at any championship he wanted. Yes. So thing is, like with that premise, like you get a shot at any belt you want. Of course you're going to go for the main belt. Oh, give us a shot at the North American title. With the greatest respect to the North American title. No, I want a shot at the main one.
Yeah.
Give me the main belt.
Is it too soon to go lovely, lovely, lovely?
Again.
We haven't seen too much of the guy, have we?
I'm going to put him in Meh.
I'm happy with Meh. It's certainly no lower than Meh.
No.
He's a very talented fella.
Yeah, but he's just not. We haven't seen enough of him yet. I'm ready to see more of him. That'd be nice.
So next up we have Keith Lee, and I think it's the best because of one reason. You can forget about the unbelievable stuff he does in the ring. I just love his face when he walks out because, and I said it before, and I think it was on This Week in Wrestling ages ago. It's like me when I walk into Greg's on the morning. It's like you smell the sausage and
basking that pasty.
I just love everything. I love his really theatrical voice in these promos. Like, hello, I am Keith Lee.
He has got a voice like caramel.
Yeah.
I could listen to him read me stories all day.
There's no downside to him that I can think of. Can you think of a downside?
No, I think that maybe. I think the only in terms of downside, I think he just what is his downside? I really struggle. I'm ready for him to have a crack at being the top boy.
Yeah, and he's certainly in the conversation now, with obviously being aligned with Riddle and whatnot.
There is nobody on any of the rosters like Keith Lee,
and that's a good thing.
I think that's a great thing.
If we were sat here in 2008, we'd be talking about how dare Vince McMahon push these meatheads above Keith just because he's carrying a bit of a gut on him.
Yeah, you know what? It's true. We would be very against the idea of a Keith, but then you watch the guy work, and it's amazing to watch.
It is just amazing to watch, and it's not one of those ones where he does the same thing every single match. You think, oh, I've seen that. Why are you surprised, commentator? You just think, wow, every single time.
One of the first wrestling matches I commentated live was Justin the Hammer Sison versus Keith Lee.
Was Justin wearing the cape?
Yes, he was. And Keith Lee was wearing his smile, and it was in the centre of Middlesbrough. And
what year was this?
2000. Actually, it was only last year.
Was it?
January 2018.
In Middlesbrough?
So,
Keith Lee?
Yeah. So, for me...
3C Dub.
3CW.
Dragon Eyes U's home.
Exactly. Big love, Drag. And to watch as Keith Lee has gone from Middlesbrough in the start of January to Monday Night Pig in Raw, like throwing himself around at everybody. What a boy! What a deserved boy!
He's just fantastic.
The best around, and nothing's going to ever bring you down.
Big Killian. Love the new look. Love the new theme and everything about, harking back to his childhood and the troubles in Ireland and whatnot. Love all of that stuff. Love it when he flattens people. I love how he was walking up the ramp and then Pete Dunne did his entrance and he had an issue with that. How dare you cut me off as I walk back to backstage?
No. The crack there was, did you not see what happened? So as he was coming up, Keith Lee was like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, well, Keith Lee pushed him.
Keith Lee?
Not Keith Lee. Killian Dane pushed him. So then Pete Dunne grabs Killian Dane's fingers and snaps his fingers. So then all these refs are stopping Killian Dane from going for Pete Dunne, which was looked.
But he hasn't he's a really petty man, is Killian Dane.
Oh, he let it go.
He hasn't let it go.
He battered Pete Dunne on NXT just gone, and Damien Priest as well.
But I guess since he crushed your man Boa twice, you're going to have to put him in the bin. Is that what we're going to do here?
Straight in the bin.
Don't you?
No.
I don't think he's the best.
I think he's lovely.
I think he's the top of the lovely category.
I think he's in the lovely.
I'd love to see him get a real sustained push as one of the main event guys, because I think he can do it.
I think he's got and they're certainly positioning him. Like you don't put anybody with someone like a Pete Dunne or Damien Priest because they're a half thought. You're doing it because you clearly, see something in him.
And he's just a really nice man. Do you ever meet him?
I've never had the pleasure.
Oh,
I know
met him once. He's just a really nice man. He called me, some guy in an interview asked him once, is Ross really funny? And he hadn't met me. And he went, yeah, he's really funny.
Oh!
And I was like, oh, stop it.
What a guy.
So I was like, I love you.
Again, he's one of those guys when a few years ago when he got the job with WWE, you genuinely had that pride. Like, here's a guy who's really worked for it, big demo, you know.
And I love the transition. If you just Google, Killian Dane, Big Damo, Young, because he was never really Big Damo. He's just gone, woohoo! Every aspect of his body has just gone, woohoo!
Somebody was putting Miracle Grow on their Weetabix.
He used to be a really little skinny man, and then he's just not anymore. It's just that.
Now he is the beef.
He just really is good.
The pure beef.
Insanity still pains me, the way that panned out.
Yeah, but you know what? The fact that he's bouncing back from that, the fact that he has now been able to carve a name for himself outside of Sanity, I think is great. I feel bad that the only person that really hasn't recovered from Sanity is Eric Young.
Yeah, you could
Nikki
argue.
Cross has done her own thing.
Alexander Wolf's
gone to do his own thing. Killian Dane's doing his own thing. Eric Young's just kind of just there.
Yeah, poor Eric Young. So next up, though, we have Mr. Kona Reeves.
Right.
And I think we're going to talk about the bottom two tiers here.
Yes, I think I like the idea of the Kona Reeves character, but it just seems
it so many times, haven't we?
Yeah.
He's a sexy man who thinks he's sexy.
When you got Fandango on the card,
Adam Cole as well,
and Adam Cole,
and Finn Balor,
yeah,
and Keith Lee.
I think Kona Reeves has had an opportunity to go for it. He is in the bin.
See, I can't argue. I could argue. Is he just about bearable, or is he bin worthy?
I think he isn't because Jackson Riker has done more than Kona Reeves.
Yeah.
I couldn't put those two in the same category. Jackson Riker has made more of an impact than Kona Reeves has.
I was going to say Kona Reeves sort of has disappeared off the face of the earth over recent times.
Completely fallen off the
Maybe he's going to get repackaged, because I didn't think that gimmick worked personally. It was just, we've seen it so many times, and so many other wrestlers do it better than Kona did.
Yeah.
And he is a really big, impressive guy as well. He's a lot taller than you think he is.
Is he?
He's massive.
I really don't remember. That's how long it's been since I last saw him. But no, he's in the bin. Like I said, if you want to crawl out the bin with a new gimmick, that's absolutely fine.
Mr. Kushida.
Oh, yes!
I've got to admit something to you now. Mm-hmm. The whole Back to the Future stuff doesn't do anything for me.
Really? But it's not offensive.
No, it's not.
Like,
I'm just saying it does nothing for me.
Yeah, but that's fine. But then, it's literally part of the shtick for the entrance. And it's not like it's massively in your face, like lore of Back to the Future. He's not coming out on a DeLorean going 88 miles an hour.
Wait until TakeOver.
Oh,
WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah. I'm for that.
I'll get that old fella in. I've never seen the film. That old fella.
Christopher Lloyd. Is Doc Emmett Brown. Great Scott.
Yeah, that fella.
See, this is it. You're not interested in the gimmick because you're not interested in the film.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
How do you not like Back to the Future?
I've just never seen it.
Incredible. What? Come on.
I've not seen a lot of films.
Where?
But yeah, everything else though. I really like it. It's just that the Back to the Future stuff does nothing for me. Doesn't tickle my pickle.
Well, it tickles mine. And my pickle is well and truly tickled by seeing Kushida. He is lovely, lovely.
See, that's what I was going to say anyway, even though my detractions from the...
He's great. Just a strong performer.
But now we move on to the best.
Okay,
Kyle O'Reilly is my favourite NXT wrestler.
Wow. Why, out of interest?
Watch him.
Yeah, I have.
Even when he is not the centre of attention of a scene, he steals it.
He's working.
Everything he's doing, just charismatic. He's just hilarious. He's got that in him. He's one of those wrestlers who gets what's funny in wrestling, and every single time he does it, it's funny. I just love. I did an article ages ago on the Cultaholic website. It was like 10 times Kyle O'Reilly's face was too good for this world. I think that's what it was called. And there was just 10 gifs of his face from different scenes in NXT. And it's just unbelievable. And
that sort of job that you get out of bed for, innit?
Yeah.
I'm going to write about my favourite Kyle O'Reilly faces.
It's just I don't know how he does it, but every single time he's on the screen, he does something that steals what's happening. And maybe for the first time he didn't when Velveteen Dream was attacked backstage and he was the one filming and he said something cringy. And maybe that was the first time ever he didn't steal a scene involving the Undisputed Era. But every other time, and the guitar and everything, he loves dogs. Everything about Kyle O'Reilly is top tier.
Go on then, you can sit there.
And would you agree that he is a step above Bobby Fish?
No, I think they're both as great as each other.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Fish deserves to be the best. in my opinion.
Well,
I am HO.
I gave you one earlier, so this is one.
Okay, there you go. Now we are even, Stephen.
But Kyle O'Reilly's fantastic, isn't he? Anything to say on Kyle O'Reilly?
As you say, like even when he's just outside the ring, and little touches he does in a tag team match with Bobby Fish, just little nuances that they do, just it shows why they're one of the best tag teams.
Yeah.
Now, and the whole reason, one of the main reasons I'm excited for that tag team triple threat is to see what Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly will do with the likes of Kofi Kingston and Big E, and working with those guys. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. So next time we move on to a weird one. He's on the NXT roster page, but as far as I can see, he's not done too much of the wrestling, and that is Mansoor.
He's the best around.
If we were sat
number one in Saudi Arabia.
I was going to say, if we were sat in Saudi Arabia, he would be the best.
Well, that's it.
He is Mr. Crown Jewel, Mr. Greatest World, Mr. Saudi Arabia.
He basically has the Undertaker undefeated streak in Saudi Arabia.
And that match against Cesaro was the match of the night. It was fantastic.
When he turned up though on a random NXT, I remember reviewing NXT. I did a grade for Sam the one day, and I ended up talking about a match Mansoor was in, and he stood out to me then. Like he looked like he was still a bit of a diamond in the rough, but still there was something there that.
But it's just weird how he does these amazing things in front of a big audience with Cesaro and the whatever battle royal he won, the 51-man battle royal, wasn't it? Then he just goes away and is never seen again.
Yeah, they're very stop-start with him. So I think for that reason, he probably needs to go in meh.
I think that I'm agreed with that. He certainly doesn't deserve anything worse than that.
No, not at all. Because whenever he's turned up, he's been great.
Yeah. Marcel Barthel, or Bartel, the hard D. Stop moving the table.
I'm just popping that there.
No, that's not on the screen though.
Oh, sorry, friend. There we go.
There we go. Right, so Marcel, I think he's very much in the same as Fabian.
Yeah, I think.
I heard a lot of stuff about him before NXT, and he's not really shown me why people were speaking in such glowing terms about him since he's came. I know he has a role to play, and he plays that role. He might be hamstrung by it, but
when you, as we said earlier, when you're on a roster and a show that basically revolves around great wrestling, you have to do a little bit more than great wrestling.
Yeah,
we're very blessed to be in a time where like great wrestling is a standard. Yeah, like every week there are like must-see wrestling matches.
The business has evolved, brother.
It could be mid-hiccup, as you said.
But I think meh, and it does feel a bit harsh to say.
Yeah, I'm with you on the meh, to be fair.
But yeah, Mr. Piddle,
Matthew Riddle. I think he's got to be at the top.
I think he's got to be at the top as well.
Yeah.
My main worry before he got to NXT was promos, but they have just let him be him.
I was concerned with how much they would adapt who he is. And it's been so refreshing to see him just come in and be him.
Be him.
You know, the Goldberg stuff, they're playing off quite nicely.
They're going to get a match out of that, aren't they?
They're bound to.
Is it going to be WrestleMania? It's going to be Survivor Series?
I think that, well, I don't care as long as Goldberg spears Matt Riddle as he gets into the ring and Riddle's flip-flops fly off. He literally spears Riddle out of his flip-flops. That needs to be the spot. They need to practice that.
There is legitimate bad blood there. Do you reckon Goldberg...
I don't think it's bad blood. I think Goldberg just thinks Matt Riddle's a bit of a jackass.
Well, no, because there was an interview it was years ago where Riddle really had a go at Goldberg, saying that WCW pushed him like they did because they knew he couldn't wrestle long matches. And Goldberg's taken offence to that and it's never gone away. And obviously Riddle said more things in more recent times and made it a bit worse. And they had that backstage altercation at whatever, was it SummerSlam?
It wasn't even that. It was just Riddle going, okay, bro, and Goldberg going, I'm not your bro. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, whatever, bro. Yeah, stop calling me your bro, because I'm not your bro. It was just like it was intense, but it certainly wasn't.
I was going to say that, would Goldberg actually put him over?
I don't know if he would.
Yeah, that's the sticking point.
I don't know if he would.
I don't want to see a Goldberg Riddle match where Goldberg wins.
Well, it will be if they ever do it.
You can't do that though. It's too unrealistic.
Well, go now, because Goldberg smashes everybody. He'd smash Riddle, like in this universe.
But even in the kayfabe, Matt Riddle is the UFC guy, the MMA guy. I know Goldberg is an MMA guy.
Okay, how would you put together Matt Riddle versus
I think your idea for Goldberg spearing him with the flip-flops is a fantastic start because Goldberg looks strong and menacing. Then somehow Riddle's got to come back and Riddle's got to win.
Goldberg goes for a spear, Riddle catches him with like a front face.
And maybe even that you do like a sort of official Passion of the Torch with the jackhammer. Maybe that's how...
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's...
Riddle hits Goldberg with a jackhammer.
Yeah, maybe that's how he
world
wins.
We live in.
That would be amazing, that. I would love to see that.
That'd be bizarre.
But I don't want to see because as much as I love... Goldberg was the guy who got me into wrestling. I make no bones about that. But in recent years, it's Mother Nature, time. The hands of time are catching up with the guy. And it's going to happen to us all.
I'd rather, like, if the option is either have no Matt Riddle Goldberg match or a Matt Riddle Goldberg match where Goldberg wins, I'd rather just not have the match and let it all fizzle out.
Yeah. Next one we have Mauro, and that is the best. He is the best play-by-play guy in wrestling, full stop. Not just NXT. He's just, what bad. My only criticism, right, and it's a pretty minor one, is that I used to love the way Jim Ross back in the day, in the opening match, it was all very ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Then by the main event, it was Mauro is all the way through.
But to be fair, that is because all the matches are rah 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 rah. Like you can't be watching Matt Riddle versus Adam Cole for the NXT title and go coming up later tag team time. No, because this is your main event. Yeah. Like he's calling it in the way that the matches should be called. It just so happened that all the matches on NXT these days are bows to the wow.
They are, aren't they?
And he's just. But in terms of as a commentator, I dabble in a bit of that myself. Mauro Ranallo is a measuring stick. Like, you will compare how you do based on the performance of Mauro Ranallo. There is nobody that has got the connection. He brings a sense of gravitas to commentary by the way that he talks. He has pop culture references that mix it up. Like, I'm bored of commentators using the same tried and tested...
Time to switch gears now!
Yeah, wrestling cliches, went to the well once too often, da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's Mauro Ranallo just freshens it and makes it palatable for new ears. I'm upset that people think, oh, you shouldn't make pop culture references. Bore off. Wrestling's pop culture. It is. Like, honest to God, would you really want him to go, there's a slam and there's a suplex? God, bore off. Mauro Ranallo's excellent.
Some of them are really strenuous, though. They're clutching at too many straws sometimes. But I do like that, because at least he's trying different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear them and you go, what?
I'd rather watch Mauro Ranallo try new things and not all of it land than watch a commentator go through the motions.
Yeah. I agree with that. Definitely.
Somebody got onto the case of... somebody kicked off because somebody on Twitter had said that Mauro Ranallo is the best commentator, and somebody went, no, Jim Ross is commentating at the moment. Like, it was a cardinal sin to accuse anybody other than Jim Ross of being the best commentator ever.
That's just not true. Anyway, it's the best commentator today.
Yeah, because...
No, that's just not true.
No, I think IMHO, I think Mauro Ranallo today is better than Jim Ross today.
Yeah, obviously.
Jim Ross is great. He is in, and his place in AEW is perfect. And he's brought so much gravitas to things. But then I feel like sometimes Jim Ross gets a bit bored. Like in any commentary he's done, I've heard him. I've heard him do commentary for places where he genuinely doesn't sound like he wants to be there. Whereas Mauro Ranallo genuinely feels like he wants to be there all the time. And that's what I want, because if Mauro's invested, I'm invested. Yeah. The commentary role is so important for telling stories. You can't just give it to any Tom, Dick, or Harry.
Or Michael.
You know, isn't that cool, guys?
Yes!
Mauro's ace.
I don't think... If you're thinking Jim Ross is better than Mauro today, I think you're just wrong. The question is Mauro better than Jim Ross from 1999?
Oh, now that is a phenomenal question.
Because I think, me personally, and I don't know if this was just because it was my youth, and obviously everything's better when you're a kid.
Yeah.
If it's your era, it's better. Jim Ross's storytelling and getting you invested in the story, I still think he was more effective back in the day than Mauro is today. But again, I don't think that's Mauro's style. Mauro's more reactionary than Jim Ross is. Jim Ross sets the table for you better, I thought, back in the day.
Yeah, I agree. But for right now, Mauro is still
definitely
very much the best.
So next up we have Mia Yim, and my opinion of her was seriously blighted by that takeover match against Shayna because it bombed.
Yeah, it wasn't... I feel like Mia Yim has been pushed a bit too hard too fast.
She's been around for years.
No, but in terms of NXT, she was Jade in TNA, in Impact Wrestling. She was excellent there. She did some really great work there, and I think that she I feel like she came in and then she was almost immediately in a title picture. There are other people on that women's roster who I think would fit the role better. She's now growing in the role, but I think she's had too much too soon. And I think that's why that Shayna match. And also, I don't buy. Like, there's some people I buy as a threat to Shayna Baszler. I don't buy Mia Yim as a threat to Shayna Baszler.
See, because I think with her, the story they're telling with her and the gimmick, I like coming from the streets and the HBIC and the the neckerchief, whatever they're called, the thing over her face that makes her look evil.
The do-rag?
Whatever it's called.
Balaclava. Baklava.
The cowboy bandit thing. I think that really works in her favour, but then the wrestling match started, and it was bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair comment from myself there.
I want to put her in there.
See, I was going to go just about bearable.
Really?
Yeah, but is that too hard?
I was going to be dead polite and put her in meh.
This isn't about being polite, Tom. This is about telling the truth and stating things as they are.
There are still a couple of people I'm looking on this list who I think we should go in just about bearable. I don't think Mia Yim is one of them.
Maybe we'll see more. I don't know. But just by what we've seen...
Hang on. Okay, the bellwether. Do I like Mia Yim more than Boa? No.
Big Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, get that boy right in my stable. Here he goes.
Absolutely agree. The best thing about Nigel McGuinness is that he doesn't go back to the whole time-honoured tradition of being a heel commentator who overly supports the bad guys to where it's nonsensical. He supports the bad guys, but he also tells you how good the good guy is, which makes the bad guys seem better than they are.
He compliments. It's true. He compliments Ronaldo beautifully.
It's so subtle in comparison. And early on, I must admit, I didn't quite get that. But then when you sit back and listen to the pair of them, they do complement each other so well.
I've loved him on NXT UK as well. I think Nigel McGuinness was crucial in telling the story of the Tyler Bate Volta match, and selling the shock 45 minutes in of Volta. Of Volta dropping Tyler Bate with a powerbomb and Tyler Bate kicking out at 1. And the crowd reaction and Nigel McGuinness's reaction, it was just like, oh, no way!
And that was what's so good about it, because he never really does that too often, does he? He never gets out of his seat too often. He's always he gets excited, but he never gets out of his seat. But he did then, and that made it all the more effective. Plus, I love the wholesome moments, like when Zach Gibson locked on the old Shankly gates, whatever he calls it now. And that's obviously one of Nigel's old moves, and he was getting excited, like, my boy!
That's it. Anytime anybody does I think Tyler Bate now has it as his move. He does the move where he bounces off the ropes and hits a lariat. It's the Les Kellett lariat. Nigel McGuinness took to that was one of his moves in Ring of Honor. It's inspired by Les Kellett, who used to do that thing that Dean Ambrose does, where he falls through the ropes and then comes back up and hits a clothesline. Les Kellett used to do that with a headbutt in World of Sport, so that's where it's come from. But Nigel McGuinness adapted it with a lariat first of all and called it the Les Kellett lariat. But the Ring of Honor guys misheard him, so they call it the Let's Kill It lariat. So therefore I think he's trying to redress the balance every time anybody does that sort of flop through the ropes, come forward and a clothesline. He gives it the old shades of Les Kellett. So I love hearing Les Kellett mentioned on the WWE network. I love it.
Right then, so we move on to Wonnie Lorcan, as Matthew likes to call him. And I just think, just because of the Twitter game, it needs to be a step higher than...
I want to put him in lovely, because I think as a solo competitor, like I know I said earlier, I'll put Birch and Lorcan together. I disagree. I think Birch as a solo competitor has this manic energy that is embodied on his Twitter.
And he didn't show that for me anyway, for a long time. For a long time, he was literally just a little bald man in tights, and he would come in and wrestle well, but not really have any sort of defining characteristic to the wrestling. But now, he really has got that manic thing with his long finger.
But it's also like it's like the flops up to the outside. It's just the frantic nature in which he does fight backs and stuff. Like it's a very unique style.
He could go. He could bring it out even more as well with his mannerisms and whatnot. He could do that more.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was my champion on WWE 2K19 for quite some time.
I remember you saying that.
Universal champion.
Your weird fetish for him.
I love him.
Peter Doon, as Kyle O'Reilly likes to call him, which I always laugh at, even though I don't know why. Peter Doon. I don't think he's in quite the best category.
Do you not?
I still don't, and I don't know if it's just the Birmingham accent or whatever, because it's not quite full on Birmingham, is it?
No, it's full fat Birmingham.
Is it full fat?
Yeah, as a seasoned West Midland.
I was going to say it's not quite West Bromwich Building Society.
No, because that's Dudley.
Is it Dudley?
That's Dudley. Birmingham's a little bit different.
Oh, right.
He's very much got the Birmingham accent.
It's not the full on Dudley one.
Dudley is a little bit louder. Dudley, what they do is they add syllables to words that don't need syllables. Like instead of saying going home, they'll say, I'm going home. And I think the Birmingham
it just doesn't quite connect when he's speaking.
I think the one thing, like My good lady talks about this quite a lot with Pete Dunne. She always remembers she watched the UK Championship tournament, the first one they did, and in Pete Dunne's first promo, he goes, "Oh, Pete Dunne, I like to hurt people," and it's just like, unfortunately, that now sort of every time she sees him, she goes, "Oh, here he is, I like to hurt people." Unfortunately, that accent doesn't inspire a lot of anger.
That might be a hard thing to say because it is very different to anybody else anywhere.
That's why I like it. It's a bit different.
But it's also like, I think it's stopping it from being from the best because it doesn't quite work. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it. Is that...
I want to put him in lovely anyway because he is a machine as a wrestler.
Oh, he's unbelievable, yeah.
Absolute machine. My favourite story regarding Pete Dunne is in 2009, so 10 years ago. Yeah, maybe about 10 years ago.
That's when 2009
That was when 2009 was. I used to work for a wrestling company, me and a few mates put together in Shrewsbury.
What, you started your own company?
Oh, I was late to it. They started it and they brought me in as like ring announcer / general manager type. And it was basically a bunch of us who, they'd all done wrestling training, so they were all on the card and stuff. And we did quite well. Big shout EDW. The main guy in EDW, one of the most popular EDW champions of all time, Jamie Future, went on to write a very successful book about Brian Pillman called Crazy Like a Fox.
He was the future.
Yeah, he really was. His name's Liam O'Rourke and he's a good egg. And but then on one of these shows, I remember we had this match with these two guys who were a tag team and they wanted to let some steam off, and they were in I think they were in the opening match. And I don't even think they got paid for it. They wanted just like some exposure. Pete and Damien Dunne. Pete Dunne in the opening match of me and my mate's wrestling company in 2009.
So is that why are Pete and Damien Dunne supposed to be like related?
I always thought they were.
I never knew that.
I'm an idiot. Only recently I realised they weren't.
I just thought it was a coinky dink that they had the same.
Well, they were the Dunn brothers in down south in the Midlands area for a long time. They worked as the Dunn brothers. And then they split up, and then Deputy Dunn went and did his own thing, and Pete Dunne became the Bruiserweight. And I just love every time I see Pete Dunne on a grand stage. I go, the Shrewsbury, what was the theatre called? Was it the Ark? Was it called the Ark? I can't remember. The Hive. My apologies. The Hive Theatre in Shrewsbury, and 100 seats a venue, if that. And there he is on WWE Raw. Couldn't be prouder.
And I tell you what, speaking of pride, that match he had with Tyler Bate at the Takeover in Chicago, I've never had a feeling. I've never had a feeling like that watching a wrestling match of like national pride.
Yeah, it was so weird, didn't it?
It did. Like these two, because when the match started, the crowd. I don't know if it's fair. It's been a while since I've seen it. They weren't too much into it, but by the end, woo!
Yeah,
could have torn the house off.
Yeah, and again, like, you know what, we've talked about him a little bit. Jim Ross was on commentary for that, if I remember correctly.
He was,
and he was brilliant calling that match, and he was excellent. I don't want to just run down Jim Ross.
So next up we have Rel Mendoza.
Every time I hear Rel Mendoza, I think of the cartoon series Fat Man Mendoza.
And I don't know how
for that reason he's just about bearable.
I don't know how Rel Mendoza can be on this roster list on the official WWE.com, but Chelsea Green isn't.
I reckon we put him in the bin.
How does he? Yeah,
I haven't seen he's okay. Get in the bin. I think is seemingly belonging to those who have been around for ages but still have done nothing.
Yeah,
Rel Mendoza's one of them.
He's just put over. He's been in a couple of squash matches that seem to spring to mind. I couldn't tell you who against. He's definitely been on TV, but I can't remember the last time he was used.
No, I can't either. I'm afraid.
So moving on.
Sorry, Raoul.
We're moving on to Ria Ripley.
Oh, now
this is a difficult one because it is one of the top 2 tiers, isn't it?
Definitely. She's like, okay. Here's a good one, right? Like Aaliyah, for example, who has been on the Performance Center in NXT for years and just hasn't cut through, hasn't connected. Ria Ripley has been with the company for what, a year?
She turned up looking one way, and now she looks the complete opposite, and it works.
Yeah.
So Aaliyah's turned up looking one way. Maybe she's the opposite now, but it doesn't work. We don't know. I can't remember when Aaliyah was hired. But yeah, Ria Ripley has changed everything, and it's just worked.
Ria Ripley, I would put in the best, actually.
Would you?
Yeah.
Is it too soon?
It might be.
She hasn't really had that match yet, has she?
Again, I reckon if we were doing this after War Games, this would feel
War Games might be the match where we look back and think, oh, that was her real coming out party.
I want to put her in lovely, lovely, lovely for now.
I'll tell you what, though, and it's funny you put her next to Pete Dunne. Have we ever seen Pete Dunne and Ria Ripley in the same room?
No, they're the one person. As you can see, that's where his hair is, and then that's where her hair is.
just flip backwards.
Just flip backwards.
But when she walks out, she has the same walk. Her facial expressions are the same as Pete Dunne's.
She does that big kick as she stands on the apron. I expect her one day to fall over doing that.
And I'll tell you what, that finishing move, I don't know what she calls it, where she ties up the legs and then lifts them up.
It has got a name.
It's unbelievable.
It escapes me right
It's
now.
my favourite submission.
And in terms of people who are, we're going to get to Shayna Baszler very soon. We talked about people like Mia Yim. Like, were they a threat to Shayna Baszler? No. And the problem is, because we'd had that thing where Mia Yim was challenging Shayna and Shayna showed some fear from Mia, it sort of diluted a bit when Rhea Ripley turned up. Because I think if anybody Shayna Baszler should be frightened of anybody, she should be frightened of Rhea Ripley. Like, in terms of like the style and the look and stuff, it very much feels like an even match. And I think, yeah, Rhea Ripley is a
She
lovely,
could be the woman to dethrone the Queen of Spades. Do I work for WWE now? Maybe.
Yes, you do.
So next up we have Riddick Massey, who I do believe needs to just get in the bin.
In you go, Rid. Again, nothing.
He had that tag team with Tino Sabatelli, where there were just two rich men who thought they were good looking, I think. That went nowhere. Riddick Moss, right? I looked at a picture of the guy. He's huge. He's got a lovely body. He seems to have everything you want for a WWE superstar, but he doesn't have that thing, the gimmick or the sort of connection with the fans.
That X Factor, that sort of...
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi.
A va-va-voom.
The va-va-voom.
Was that
That Vorsprung duck technique.
He probably does own an Audi, though. Next up, we have Robbie Strong, right? And I have strong feelings on Robbie Strong.
Okay.
For a long time, I just thought he didn't have the it again as a heel. In the Undisputed Era, I didn't think he fit. I didn't think he fit. I speak the words very well.
He did not do the fitted.
He didn't fit it in.
He didn't do, though, the fitted.
I thought he was very much playing a character in that, hello, I am the cocky heel, I am the high school jock, I am this, that, and the other. But then I realised, is that what we're supposed to think, and is that the job he's doing?
That he's not meant to fit in.
That he's trying so hard to fit in, we're supposed to look at him going, that guy just doesn't fit in. Is that the role he's supposed to be?
No, I don't think that's not the vibe I get from him. I get the vibe that Roderick Strong, who is technical excellence, has joined...
Yeah, forget about the wrestling. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's it. But he's joined the stable that basically kept doing a number on him and went, you know what, these guys are like me, they are technical excellence. And
but I mean, like, the mannerisms when he's doing his entrance, it doesn't look as natural as the other three do.
He's probably not as meshed in, but I think...
But is he supposed to be the high school jock who you look at thinking, oh, he thinks he's good, but he's actually just a clown?
I would say
this is before he gets in the ring, by the way.
Yeah. I'd say that's more Kyle O'Reilly's persona before he gets in the ring. Because he's the one who comes out playing the belt as a guitar.
But he knows he looks like an arsehole.
Yeah.
I don't think Roddy knows he looks like an arsehole.
I don't think Roddy looks like an arsehole, though.
It's a hard one, because when you put him next to the other three, I do think he just doesn't quite, fit, and it feels weird to say. I don't know if you agree with that.
I think he's the best. I want to put, but I want, in my head, all the Undisputed Era were in the best. In my head, and you've already denied me Bobby Fish.
I'll not deny Roddy.
I will not allow you to
because his
deny
wrestling
Roddy.
is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and his little boots.
And it just for me, it's a beautiful image of the tag belts being held by Bobby and Kyle, Roddy with the North American title, Adam with the NXT title, and these two, and then Roddy and Adam have got. There's something there that when the time comes for a split, there's a nice story you can tell there. Whether Adam Cole gets kicked out by Roderick Strong, who takes ownership of Undisputed Era, whether Roddy eventually maybe does get tired of the other shenanigans of the other lads and then challenges for the NXT title. There's a nice little story in their departure as a team. Eventually, not now, because right now I think they're great. I don't want them breaking up now. But down the road, Roddy is very much going to be like a pioneer.
He's an unbelievable wrestler as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So next up we have Shane Thorn, and I'm screaming meh straight away. Because and it's a frustrating one. Because when they was in TM61, was that what
the Mighty Don't Kneel.
He was like the loose cannon of the two, and he looked like he had something about him. But then since then, he's just sort of fallen. I know he had the big injury, but since he's came back, he hasn't really been used. And I thought he can play that sort of unhinged character really, really well.
He's had a couple of decent matches on TV recently, matches that we assumed would be sort of squash matches, done and done. That have turned into strong matches for him. Like he had a great match against Johnny Gargano, which we thought would be Johnny Gargano just quickly beating him. But then Shane Thorn really held his own. I reckon, but then as you say, there's still not enough meat on the bone with Shane Thorn. I want to put him in there. I don't think he's
certainly doesn't deserve any worse than that.
No, he certainly doesn't.
But again, we might eat our words in a few weeks' time. Who knows?
Right there.
Next up, we have Big Shayna, and I tell you what, if we were sitting here before that match with Kairi Sane, I'd have gone just about bearable, maybe even getting the bin.
Wow,
but
really?
That match against Kairi Sane made me realise she's just unbelievable. She is so different.
You're late to the party.
This was ages ago. This though.
Oh, was it?
The Kairi Sane takeover match.
The Mae Young Classic.
Maybe.
It was Mae Young Classic.
One of the takeover matches you had with Kairi Sane. She just proves she is so far removed from anything else we know in women's wrestling. She's even different to Ronda in what she does. She's just a bastard. She's awful. She's horrible. But she's also fantastic. I can't speak highly.
She's immediately held her own again on the Raw and SmackDown NXT invasions. She attacking Bayley and then doing that sit down bit with Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
and just
that was one hell of a promo. That
was great. You genuinely feel like she's a threat to both of them. And that's exactly what NXT should feel like. You know, it shouldn't be like on Raw with Jerry Lawler going, "Who's this one here?"
Yeah.
It should be these guys are a threat to the main roster, and Shayna's going to kick everybody's head off.
Yeah, I don't know what. She's so different. I just can't speak high enough for the woman. She's fantastic. So next up we have Steven Cutler.
The Cuttles.
The big
Cuttlefish of the Forgotten Sons.
Of the three Forgotten Sons, he is the one I care least about.
Wow. Okay. So well, and the leader is just about bearable. So I must admit,
he's been there for years as well. He's one of those that's been there for years.
I think he's in the bin. That's a shame. Like as we said earlier, the Forgotten Sons are just that stable on the periphery that I think they want a position to be like these they do cool stuff on the odd occasion. The other week when there was a tag match and the tag team didn't make it out, and then you see Jackson Riker just dragging the bodies of both of the tag team towards the ramp. It was just cool visuals like that they do, but then they're just very...
They are just there to be hated, and they do make you hate them, but like I don't know if it's for the right reasons yet.
No.
So next on we move to Lio Rush, who... I am tempted, right? He is near the top of Lovely, Lovely, Lovely for me.
I'd almost put him in the best.
Yeah, I would as well.
I think because now he's on NXT, I think this is right for him.
Yeah.
I think on 205 Live and on Raw or SmackDown,
you don't get a chance to show character.
Yeah.
On 205 Live.
This brand feels right for a Lio Rush.
And I also hope he turns heel sooner rather than later. Because his heel work alongside Bobby Lashley, that was his calling. I
quite like just at the moment where he's sort of this cocky babyface.
Yeah.
Like shades of grey with Lio Rush.
But I think that the heel really because on the main roster, with the microphone in hand, he held his own with everybody. He was fantastic. He was annoying in the best possible way.
He was annoying.
He's got an annoying voice, and it's just he fit the role so well. And obviously, when he would do the flippy doos to try and run away from people, he proved he can do amazing things in the ring as well. But
shall we pop him?
Is it too soon? I think top of Lovely, Lovely, Lovely's.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Then we're going to pop him top of Lovely, Lovely, Lovely.
Next to Angel will do.
Angel's not moving. Angel's like, no way. There you go.
So next up we have Tiana, who's lost her second name, I think.
Normally they lose the first name.
Yeah, but I think as we're sat here today, Ali's got his Mustafa back.
Oh, is he?
So congratulations to Ali.
That's a kid's book, is it? How Ali got his Mustafa back.
But we're sat here, and I think it was on the most recent one, she had that match with Woman in Red.
Santana Garrett. She's dancing with me, and cheek to cheek.
And they moved in slow motion.
It was all right. It was okay.
There was that one. I think the sequence made it to Reddit, and the little flip. Oh God, it was bad.
I think she's not there yet. I reckon she can't be worse. She can't be better than Mia Yim.
No.
There.
I think that's fair because we know she has the black belt. We know she can do impressive things, but again, we haven't seen too much from her. And then what we've seen from her with the most recent NXT, as we're sat here on the 13th of November. Have you got anything to add on Mrs. Conti?
There's flashes of brilliance. I think I think down the way there'll be something. She'll be something. You can just see it in her. But I'm going to
guess she's young as well.
Yeah, I'm going to set her at bearable. Leave her at bearable. That'd be fine.
So next up we have bloody Nixon Newell.
Lady Kane.
She's lovely, isn't she?
I like Lady. Do you know what? I like how she's been in America quite a while now, and she's sort of got this pseudo Welsh American accent that's creeping through.
It happens to them all, doesn't it? God bless them. But I think, I think it is too soon, just because of the injuries, to go the best.
Yeah, I think she's lovely.
I think she is lovely.
I think they are certainly positioning her to be a world beater.
Well, the rumour was she was going to win the Mae Young Classic she got injured in, which was heartbreaking in of itself. But the stuff we've seen alongside Dakota Kai, the main roster, while it was all really about Ria Ripley when she appeared on SmackDown, how dare they spell her Knox wrong as well? They spelled it like Mike Knox instead of Tegan Knox.
Amateurs.
But yeah, she is just good. She showed with WCPW. She was I thought she was head and shoulders above the rest of the...
That last woman standing match she had...
With Kimberly.
Kimberly. Oh,
yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
My days.
Yeah, she's just good, and she has a nice dog as well.
And she's got a good choke slam. Honestly, I just find it makes me chuckle too much, the idea that like her inspiration is, it's Kane. You don't hear anybody else go, my favourite wrestler was Kane.
One of my favourites was Kane.
Yeah?
I was scared of Kane. Scared Poolis. But,
are you about to mention her bit from The Bump?
Yes, it was wholesome, wasn't it? Where Kane was like, make me proud.
She's like, oh my God, I will. Thank you so much. It was beautiful watching Lady Kane talk to Mr. Kane on that.
Not married though. No. Don't want a political scandal kicking off in this video. So next up we have Tino Sabatelli, and I think he does actually live in the bin at the minute.
He's got to go with Riddick.
I know. Did he have a big injury which has been sort of keeping him out of action? But then again, you have to think about when he's been used on TV. He is just the rich man who used to, he used to be in the NFL or something, and he's got a lovely body, and I don't know if he's still going out with Mandy.
Oh, man.
I should explain. I say it like that because of the start of a theme. It makes me laugh. Mandy. But the gimmick of rich man with nice body and doesn't out for me.
No, it was your gimmick for years.
Yeah,
Fix
still
that.
Is. Don't make me take my shirt off now.
Oh, don't, you will die.
So next up, top, Mr. Ciampa.
Yep, get in the bin. You're absolutely right. In you go, mate. Could you imagine?
Oh.
Could you imagine?
He would cause a war.
Oh yeah, Ciampa. Like nobody. There is nobody that has defined NXT like Tommaso Ciampa. I was devastated when his injury took him away.
Yeah.
My fear is that at the moment he could potentially become too much of a super duper babyface, because I don't think that's his shtick.
He's definitely better as a heel.
But he's still what he does. What I love about him is he still drops little things in to remind you. By the way, like there's war games going on, the Survivor Series going on. But I've still got
that closing shot on SmackDown when they had all of the NXT superstars. He would not take his eyes off Adam Cole's championship.
Yeah, that's it. He was staring at Goldie all the way through.
Yeah.
Little things like that, just to remind you that's the real.
Daddy's going to war.
Yeah.
You turned to Vince McMahon there. He's just you can't say enough good things about him.
The no matches have suspended my disbelief in wrestling like Ciampa and Gargano, that have just completely encapsulated me.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gutted that their run ended prematurely.
Yeah.
I still think there's room to pick it up for one more. I wouldn't be upset if they situate them to go, they're going to have one more match. Maybe Ciampa wins the belt and then Gargano comes out and goes, hey, we got a bit of business that we never finished.
Yeah.
Let's go one more time.
And we have a compelling matchup, sportsmanship,
and
all that malarkey.
They say, no, sod that. Let's just leave it all out on the floor.
I know we're saying, I'm saying that he's a much better heel than he is a face. That the documentary they did on him, where they sort of Triple H'd him. How could you not like that guy with being in hospital with his kid and whatnot? And
his finish is named after his daughter.
Yeah, Willow's Bell. Yeah, lovely, wholesome.
Wholesome AF.
The Dream?
Oh, the Dream is the best.
The best, yeah.
Jeez, it's without question.
I hope he never ever gets moved to Raw or SmackDown, because the references he drops in his attire on the takeovers and whatnot will not work with the casual fans.
I think the one thing that annoyed me about NXT when it moved to USA is they tweaked the Dream a little bit, the Velveteen Dream a little bit. So when he did his promos, couch full of ladies, nice touch. Bathed in purple light, nice touch. His music playing all the way through, didn't like it. Because I don't know whether it's my ears, I don't know, but I find it uncomfortable when somebody uses a radio to a music bed when they use a music bed that has
We
singing
use
in.
music beds.
There you go. When a music bed has singing in.
All right.
Just no. So there he is going. And the dream is gonna come after you, Roderick. I don't know why he's Yogi Bear. And the dream is gonna come after you, boo, boo. And he's talking, and then in the music you can just hear Velveteen Dream, D-I-E-A-M, baby, and it jars me a little bit.
Right.
But in terms of like a wrestler, phenomenal, performer, phenomenal, the complete sports entertainment package. If I trusted the main roster more, he'd be there.
Yeah.
But I don't trust them.
Yeah, hopefully he's in NXT forever. So next up we have Wesley Blake, and I'm gonna make an argument, right,
Okay.
to put him in there.
I think out of the three of the Forgotten Sons, he is the least forgotten.
Yeah, because it's really subtle, but when he's selling in a match, he bumps like an absolute animal. He makes everything that's done to him look so good. And I think that was
around.
him and Buddy when they were teaming together. I think that was the thing that a lot of people didn't pick up on. I don't want to seem like, oh, I know more than you. But it was just something I picked up on, was when they would bump and sell, while they were being dastardly heels, they made everything look amazing that was being done to them. And I think that was really underappreciated back in the day. And I think he's continued that. Plus, we had the little mini run where he was like sexy Wesley Blake, even though I personally don't think he's that good of a looking man.
Yeah, I didn't get
I thought that juxtaposition worked in his favour.
Yeah.
But I think he is more bearable than Jackson Riker is. We can forget about bloody Steve Cutler for the second there. I think he's the bottom of the Met here.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with him being there.
Plus he wears nice cowboy boots to the ring. Anything to say on Wesley Blake?
Wesley Blake, obviously Blake and Murphy were, a foundation NXT tag team for me. I enjoyed both their work. Buddy Murphy obviously was the Shawn Michaels of the team, as we've since discovered. But Blake's good. Like, Blake's strong. I feel like Blake could be something a bit more than like a third man in a stable. But I think I always feel like Wesley Blake should be the leader of the Forgotten Sons, because he's the one with the most beef.
Yeah.
He is literally embodies the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I was here near the beginning of NXT, and now you're not bothered with me. I am quite literally the Forgotten Son of NXT. Like, he embodies that spirit more than the other two do.
I think Cutler might have been there just as long, and we forgot his name at the start.
Wow,
so.
well, in that case, he is the more Forgotten Son. Riker, you're a fraud. Bin off, mate. Who else would... we could probably... I'm sure they're getting... I mean, like, down here, we've got a smorgasbord of people who could potentially be in the Forgotten Sons. Yeah. Riddick Moss, Sabatelli...
Rel Mendoza, Kona Reeves,
Mendoza.
Probably the two horsemen of the two just don't belong in that because they're so new.
Yeah, the unremembered sons.
So now we have War Games. William Regal. I love William Regal. I tell you what, I was watching our captivating career series on William Regal.
Oh, really?
And I was sat there thinking to myself as we were bigging up just how wonderful William Regal is, how he's one of those wrestlers or just, wrestling personalities who when you are a kid and you don't really understand what you're watching, you don't understand him at all. But when you grow up, you appreciate everything he did back then so much more. I was one of those kids who just saw William Regal and was like, oh, he's rubbish, him, when I was a kid. But when you grew up and realised what he was doing, he's just so good.
There's the promo that keeps doing the rounds on Reddit and other places. The one that he cut before he faced Antonio Cesaro.
Oh,
NXT,
it's emotional, isn't it?
Oh, gosh.
How I want to be remembered and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to fight with every ounce of venom in my being.
Yeah.
And if I go out, I can't think of a better way to go out than to...
It's just any role you want to put William Regal in. He can do the shoot and wrestling, serious style. He can do the clown prince stuff. He can do everything. He's just, he's wonderful. I'm proud he's from where we are.
Yeah, Blackpool boy.
Yeah.
Blackpool, and he went through a load of nonsense in his life, and he's come out the other side of it now, and he's got a job for life in WWE.
Yeah.
And he fits, and he's a non-intrusive authority figure, and I like a good non-intrusive authority figure.
When he turns up, something's going to kick off, because that's,
And I love that he now lives on the balcony, like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
I love that when it was on the last NXT. Yeah, he just appeared like, hang on there, he just came up from the dark curtain.
Whoa, stop the car. We've got an emergency, can't you?
You might as well just put a deck chair on that thing with a TV, give him a pina colada, just have him sit back and have a good time.
War Games every 45 minutes. War Games!
So we end thing on what is the official roster page of NXT on WWE.com with Gia Lee, who has one of my favourite themes. Do, 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 do. And then she does
the EastEnders theme, isn't it? You just
she does the thing with the fan in time with the shing noise. In terms of the wrestling,
she's injured, so we've not seen much of her.
Yeah, but then when she is wrestling, there's the sort of kicking influence, and I don't know what to sort of make about that, but the theme makes me want to put her right in the middle of meh.
Oh, well, let's put it near the top end of meh.
Top end of meh.
Not in front of Boa,
what are your
obviously.
thoughts on Gia Lee?
I've not seen enough of her to really. Like, I saw bits of her. She did a couple of matches on NXT, and I like the look and the style that she brings. I think that it's a unique wrestling stance. I think once she's back and she gets her motor running, she'll make a big impact on the NXT Women's division. I like it. The fan stuff I like as well.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell that they're taught at an early age in NXT. Find a little gimmick about your entrance, and you'll be fine. Feast your eyes, arrow, fan. You get that bit down, like get a little customizable bit, and then you know a custom entrance bit, and then you're fine. Yeah. And I like the fan.
So we've come to the bloody end. That is it. That is our NXT roster tiered. Don't move the table. So there we have it. I'm happy. Stop it, man. We've done well so far, not to bastardise the entire thing. Like we might have done on the SmackDown one with putting Otis in the best. But I think Otis is fantastic.
Of course he deserves being the best. Why would there be... Who would challenge that?
A lot of people did. A lot of people didn't like Alexa
Oh,
Bliss.
shut up.
A lot of people didn't like Alexa Bliss being in the best as well.
She's great. Otis should be number one. The only best on SmackDown.
So obviously let us know in the comments below what you think of our ranking. Who would you change? It's your opinion. If you disagree with us, good for you for having a backbone and not being a big old sheep. But Tom, Mr. NXT, thank you very much for joining us today to do this tiering thing. We will have Raw, we will have AEW, and we'll have a few silly ones over the Christmas break coming up on this tiered thing as we continue our dissension into Gary YouTubedom. He's Gary Stardom's brother. Wow! See you next time. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us